Yeah.
It takes a little bit to kick on. Okay, the recording has started.
All right. Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order. And first, thanks everybody for coming on this beautiful day. So I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the October 4th meeting.
So moved.
Thanks, Mike.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You're not mentioning.
You just watching. Is everybody still here out there? We're concerned.
Can you hear us?
Yep.
I can hear you, yep.
Good, all right, all right. So we do the minutes, okay?
Yeah, they can hear. They can.
Okay, good.
Mm.
Any audience comments? Anybody getting good?
No, we had no comments from, or no emails, and the minutes were, agenda was posted on the website on Friday.
Okay, good. All righty, correspondence and announcement, the CACD monthly report was kind of, just a list of things that they've done to kind of organize themselves, it seemed to me, right?
Yeah.
That much in it. Or announcement.
No, TACD monthly report is mainly our dues to them and what they're doing to justify payment of our dues.
All righty, next up, I will entertain a motion to file all bank statements for audit. Yeah, everybody has a copy of these. Looks like the watershed specialist gets a lot of money. Woo.
Which is all transferred over to the county.
Right,
I'll make
exactly.
that motion.
Thanks, Randy.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Affiliate on checking, you have to do another request for that? No, that's just if Phil was taking more money.
Yep.
Next up. All right. Okay.
Yes, I'm gonna show it to Eric, that's what I have,
Okay, yeah, show it to him and then let me know.
so I don't know what, I forgot to ask him.
Okay.
He said he contacted us, I gave him, he's. All right, I'll leave it down.
Your audio is going in and out. I can't hear anything now.
Yeah, right. We hear a whole other office sound of another office. I don't know.
Yeah, Eric, stop.
Okay, it stopped now. Okay, good. Well, I'm here, okay.
Nice.
Okay. Next, I'll entertain a motion to approve a check for $1,192.96 to replace a multi-check to Penn State Extension. That payment will be issued on a previous check.
Yeah, this check was issued Penn State, the Master Watershed Specialist Program, and Stewart's, I'm sorry.
Yeah, right.
And somehow it got misplaced. That was back in June. It was for the plants that were ordered and planted at the Fair Acres detention basin.
Okay. All right, so I will. Hear a motion.
Make a motion.
Thank you.
A second.
All right. Well, Vince, beat you to the point there.
Cheryl, we have to do the emergency review motion.
Oh, geez. Hopefully, okay, you turn the page on me, I get. Okay, October emergency reviews. And motion for that also, for deposit, the emergency review fees of $900, so it's needs of that.
I'll make that motion.
Okay,
Second.
A second.
okay. And thank you, everyone, all in favor, yes?
Aye.
Aye.
Another motion request pending. Now, tell me about the pending part. Request a motion to reimburse the Parks and Recreation Department $700 for mulch as part of the medley.
Yeah, just holding that open. We still haven't gotten the invoice for that.
Okay, so no invoice. So we're not really taking much of that.
No.
Okay, next motion request is to approve reimbursement to Southeastern PA Resource Conservation and Development Council for Growing Greener Conservation Planting Trailer. Grant for $1,775.
Yeah, this is the expenses that are paid directly by the RC&D that were covered by the grant that we obtained for running that trailer.
Right.
So that's why we're reimbursing them at this point.
Take a motion.
Make a motion.
Second,
second.
anyone? Oh,
I'll
Randy.
second.
Randy. Alrighty, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next, the motion request to transfer NPDES expenses from $4.85 from our clean water fund to our affiliate fund.
Yeah, this is usually done after the audit. The audit was done in December, and then we had problems on the QuickBooks. Because QuickBooks said, our 2019 version of QuickBooks has expired, and we don't want to redo it because everything now is based on. So we want to keep what we have. We can do that, but the accountant, when Janine had updated her software, it threw us out. So she had to come up with a new way to be able to do our additions and balance our checkbooks and QuickBooks for us. So she just recently corrected that. So I was able to print out for today's meeting.
All right, so. Motion, please. Second.
I'll second.
Please. All
All right.
Next up are checks to be signed by
Well,
me.
those are all the same checks.
All the same things as the Dubs. And, okay, now we're already down to old business. Just moving right along here.
Yes. We're working on the purchase of a UTV. The goal was that we talked about it a little bit. We purchased one and we assigned it to the parks department so they can store it in their garage down there and be able to, we wanted to get an electric one. We're working on that, trying to get one. We finally got a hold of Polaris, who has a expensive, but it's probably close to 25,000 base price. However, they do not sell the one that they were looking at last year. It was 15,000. So the new one, powerful and a better suit. However, after working with them, they the supply chain problems and whatever else, and it's so high that you would have to order it 300 days before you would actually have it delivered, almost a year to deliver. And so I looked at the other ones. The other ones they have is Hysun, is a Chinese model that sold at Bella's and Lowe's, and it doesn't look to be what we need.
It's more of a sport
Yeah.
thing, right?
And then the closest thing was in, which has a dealer in Malvern that has an electric model. But I wasn't sure about that. And I'm trying to work with motor vehicle management, and unfortunately, more experience with those had left the county. So they want to see one, and nobody has them.
Oh, they're just willing to order it for you in Malvern, but.
Well, they're a dealer. They want to take a look at it and see, because eventually the county park police want to have 2 units. They want something a little bit more robust than us. They want air conditioning, heating, indoors, and then to be able to carry a Stokes basket in like that.
What's a Stokes basket?
Stokes basket is a plastic or a wire basket that you use to go to the field to be able to carry people out to stabilize them on,
Oh.
take a back and forth.
Yeah, we don't necessarily-
It's for the field.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so insert for even the one that we wanted in the back for like $3,000. So it's not an unusual thing to have.
Right.
But the air conditioning stuff's and the enclosure is they're gonna be like $35,000.
I don't know that we would really need air conditioning.
No, that's what I told them, the
for one.
purchasing director and stuff, and we don't need that because most of the time, we're not doing anything, we're gonna be dressed for the field conditions, so. And yeah, we don't need, they're looking for other types of uses, where they might be setting out the woods, just watching for problems. I don't know that, I haven't talked to them directly, I just know that they had meetings. And I think they're postponing it for this year, so they're not moving. So I have asked Francine whether she thought that we could go ahead and look at the gasoline. I got a response back from her on that issue yet. The electric ones, like I said, is like $10,000 more on most of the units that I've seen, and the dependability, they're all new units, and I think that's causing some reluctance on the motor vehicle management about maintaining them. But I'm not sure, because I haven't been able to talk to Joe. It's filling in down there, and he's really backed up with some problems and things, so I haven't gotten into it. But I'd like to resolve this issue sometime in the future, but until I can hear more, it's sort of like on hold, but it's probably gonna be in the range of $25,000 to $27,000. Gas ones will be cheaper. Gas ones will probably be in the neighborhood of $20,000 to $24,000.
Okay, anybody got any opinions about these things to provide Ed in his decision making here?
Well, I think shopping the gas was a wise decision. I mean, the carbon output, for as little as those things are gonna run, is probably negligible when you offset it to the problems of disposing of lithium battery.
Exactly.
And where the electricity is generated anyway, so,
Yeah, right, exactly.
you know, until the whole world gets it right, you know, I don't think it's right to Delaware County taxpayers to have to pay $10,000 extra for virtue signaling of an electric vehicle.
You ever look on the used market? Or,
No,
I don't think there's many of them out there. It's another alternative.
that was the things I've been watching. I watch YouTube change, where they these things, and yeah, they're having a hard time. It's like used vehicles now, everything's hard to get in, so.
And I concur with Wayne's opinion. It's not worth the price. Return on investment.
How much is the difference?
The difference is twofold, I think. You're going to be able to use manufacturers like Kubota and John Deere and Kawasaki, so more reputable to build developers. You can start anywhere from 15,000 to top of the line. John Deere is like 27,000, I think.
And then how much is the electric?
The electric for the Polaris, which you have to wait 300 days for, started at $25,000.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other model, was $29,000, which is as much as Escape. It's a little too much money for me to think.
My cheap rent.
And I was hoping that, that's why I originally talked to a person. I thought that might be on CoStars to get a discount, but I talked to the Polaris dealer on government contracts, and he gave me a price, he quoted me a price, the discount with the government discount and the manufacturer retail price, because he added the cost in. So it actually cost more. I don't think he was interested in selling, because I don't think they have it. That's just like,
Yeah, right,
I
exactly,
think
yeah,
that's the problem. Sorry.
right.
You pay me this much money.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, but I'll make sure you find it, right?
Well, if it
So-
helps in our parks purchasing, some of the vehicles that are easily accessible for electric, that are more common, we are definitely purchasing electric. But other items, like for the golf course, the specialty items, they aren't available in electric, or they are, and they're really long lead times. We're sticking with the gas until it gets easier to buy them. So if that's any help in guiding other decision-making that the county is doing, where we can, we go electric, where it's possible.
That's fine.
Right.
I was interested in your input on that, thank you.
Yeah, now, I like the idea of the electric, the other problem that I sort of heard is that, your range is not great right now with some of the lesser price models, because if you're going up any hills or going through tougher very quicker, so you're talking a lot less. Wow. It's stuck out there, there's nothing to do, but
Especially if you have somebody in that basket.
yes, I know that, yeah. But I think they're getting there, they're just, that's the problem.
So it's weighing our current need versus waiting to get to the enhanced version.
Right.
Well, how urgent do you think it is?
There's no such thing as urgency. And my thought was that we would, since the park police cannot get theirs that they wanted, that we would be able to have the one that could be used by all three departments until they get theirs. So that necessitated getting one earlier, I thought, but was my justification. But I have not talked to Francine about it specifically, so.
So we're hanging fire.
Hanging fire.
Once again. Well, it's good to know that the details now, that how much it's going to be, what are our options. Thanks, Ed.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, the agricultural conservation assistance program, delegation agreement. Okay, tell us about this.
This is a program that we mentioned briefly, and it's going to hit us quick and fast because they have lots of money to distribute for farm that contractors installation. We only qualify for $300,000 until, I think the deadline, we have to spend everything by 2026. They give it to you in increments of a third each year, so it'd be 100,000 a year. However, if you had more applications, we don't know that we have any applications because Beth does not have had any applications. We can also, we would be able to do it with without a cost share. And sort of Beth, I talked to Beth a little bit about that. She was okay with that. We're not going to be competing with the federal government. But so we just need to stay aware of this. Their State Conservation Commission is not going to have all the answers. It's going to be a program that they're going to roll out, and we're going to just have to roll with them a little bit because things are going to have to be developed in order to get this money allocated and on the ground. It's going to have to be sort of a learn as you go process.
Right.
And we don't have anything like the other counties do. Chester County, I think, is almost $6 million. And Lancaster got the biggest share, and theirs is over $14 million that they have to spend.
And we have what?
300,000.
Oh.
We're at the lowest level because.
Better than a sharp stick in the eye.
Yeah.
So that's another thing.
Yes.
Okay. I'm hoping something happened in Smedley Park, so we're not hanging fire on everything.
No,
Good.
it was great. The planting, the multifunctional planting at Smedley Park went really smoothly. Had at least 24 volunteers show up, many of whom I didn't recognize. It means that word of mouth got around and, people learned about the planting from other sources other than me. So it was good to see other people there. Michelle was there, she helped out. We were able to plant 84 shrubs that are going to be live. And I think 16 additional native trees and small shrubs throughout the park. And just about everything was finished up early that morning. We thought we'd have to go back the following day, but because we had so many volunteers, we were able to finish up everything. Doing some follow-up with the Master Watersheds who came out and helped lead the project, probably sometime this week, just to do some fixing up of anything that needs, if any of the fencing needs to be secured or any of the plants need to be relocated for whatever reason, we can take care of that this week. And then to follow up this planting project, we're going to be working with CRC to go out and maintain the buffer that was planted by us and them in 2016. So those trees and shrubs are about 6 years old now, and they need some attention. So we have a lot of mulch left over and some fencing and some stakes left over from this previous planting. So we're gonna go back and work on that buffer.
Excellent.
It was a young job. I was very impressed. The Parks Department was impressed. They thought we, Karen had bit off a little more than she could chew, but, to hear it was all, and well done, was very impressive. The other thing, just so we know, is that was the first time we put our electric, we bought battery operated Ryobi tools, to replace the gas powered auger, and it worked really well.
Excellent. Oh, good.
And hardly drain the back.
So maybe we have to rethink our batteries.
And the part that makes it nice for that is because as part of the agreement that the master watershed stewards have, is they're not allowed to work with gasoline powered equipment. So they were able to use the battery powered equipment and it fortunately worked. So we have that and the two, battery powered, weed whackers that we haven't used yet, but, the trailer has now been moved to Montgomery County, correct?
So it's well stocked and.
Oh, yeah, we have 9 batteries, so we have, and we have backpacks, we put 3 batteries in, so it'll last a long time.
Right.
I'll put the weed whacker.
Uh-huh. Excellent. Now that was a good entry here.
Yeah.
Completion and very good. Well, thank you so much. Okay, next up, new business with the mini grants. And who? The mini grants?
I will.
Huge.
Yeah, so we had, one of our fall 2022 mini grant deadline was Sunday. So we got 4 submissions, 4 applications for mini grants. Everyone know that in the spring of this year, we had awarded 2 projects. So I believe that the board allocates $3,000 for mini grants. So with this, we would be reaching that $3,000, but I'll give a quick summary. I'm pretty sure you all have summaries in your packets. Want to go along with me? We received an application from the Newland Grist Mill for a Bluebird waste station project. So the grist mill has established a Bluebird and Monarch habitat areas at their preserve. And one of them was destroyed in August of 2020 when we had those crazy rainstorms. So they're proposing to install another one, or I'm sorry, they have already installed another one outside of the floodway. And they're seeking funds to enhance that, purchase plants, and expand that waste station. We received an application from CRC. They are a returning applicant. We haven't had an application from them in a little while, but they do riparian buffer plantings throughout the CRC watersheds, but they also have been placing more emphasis on maintaining their past plantings, which is great because there's not a whole lot of support for maintenance of riparian buffer plantings. So their application, they're seeking funds to purchase additional plants and just materials such as mulch and fencing and stakes to maintain a at Garrett Williamson in Newtown Square, where they planted more than 600 trees over the years.
Nice.
Another application came from Darby Creek Valley Association. They hired 2 interns this year, and their projects this year were to come up with educational materials to support DCE's mission. So they came up with 2 trifold brochures. So TVA is looking for funds to print those and distribute throughout the Darby Creek watershed. And our last application came from the Upper Darby Environmental Advisory Committee, and I tried to condense their narrative as much as I could to fit on 2 pages, but they put a lot of effort into their mini grant application. So they are proposing to install a pollinator garden at Gillespie Park, or Gillespie Park, however pronounce it. They did a big tree vitalized project here last year. I think they planted almost 400 trees along Darby Creek there. And across the stream from Gillespie Park is the Swedish Cabin. So the EAC and the Upper Darby Tree Tenders Group and Upper Darby Rain Gardens and the Delaware Riverkeeper Network have all been paying a lot of attention. So they're proposing to install this pollinator garden and they're asking for funds to purchase plants, a mason bee house. Let's see what else. And some shrubs and supplies needed for watering. And this project is going to help them reach their goal to become an official Bee City USA affiliate. And they are requesting, there's a line in our grant application that asks if the applicant would like a waiver of the reimbursement requirement, which is that you're reimbursed after the project is completed totally. So they are requesting a waiver. But they did indicate that they would purchase the materials first and then request reimbursement before the project. So we wouldn't be putting money up front,
Right.
just before they finish. Those are our 4 grant applications this round, and they are all asking for $500 each, so for a total ask of $2,000 for all 4.
And that's what we have available, right?
Well, we usually do $1,500, $1,500 in the spring, in the fall. It's not set in kind, but that's what our normal. But we normally set.
So this is more.
Do we have it available? Yes, we have it available. Up to the board.
Do we need a motion to see if we want to exceed the usual amount? Yes.
Yep.
Okay, who would like to make the motion that we up the amount of the,
I got your motion.
yeah.
Approval for
Approval for? Second,
I have a question. So you guys have reviewed these and you feel they're in purview of the mission of what these grants are for?
Yeah, they usually, applicants usually ask me beforehand. Projects are eligible. And we recently just went over our mini grant applications and did some, made sure that the applications that we're getting are tuned with our programming. And one of the goals of our mini grant program is to be more broad and accept all kinds of conservation projects. Of the applicants, Upper Darby EAC is a new applicant, but the person submitting is familiar with the grant program from submitting from another organization.
okay,
That being said, I'll second.
all right. All in favor?
Sorry.
Right, thank you, and thanks for the
Thank you.
information. Now we have the fun part. The annual program.
Yeah, I just put it in the packet so everybody has, so we can take action at the next meeting. I have not made any revisions to it, but that's just what we approved last year. So if anybody has any comments, suggestions, or additions that they would like to see included, please get them to me so that we'll have it for the next meeting.
You see that, just looking at the plan review summaries in our monthly packets. They seem to be much smaller, like catching up if there's not as many plans being submitted, but also seems to plan seem to be a lot more industrial, commercial, institutional. I mean, are we seeing a change in how and in the NPDF permits that we're receiving, and therefore should we modify some of our workload a little bit?
The problem is we're a little bit behind on the reviews. Usually, I can get had some highway projects and stuff that take up more time. As for permits coming in, I guess it would be more appropriate, Michelle. The permits that we have pending, we have like in the teens pending review, or what type of projects do we have in the pipeline?
I am seeing a little bit of everything, like right now, on my desk, I have UPS, parking, so industrial, I have 2 residential, I have a golf club.
So you feel it's kind of similar? to what
Yeah,
it- A similar
right.
mix.
A similar mix, but
That's
I
all- that's
just
all I
looking
was
at
saying.
as your plan review. The month of October, taking a glance. Yeah, you know, it's all like
It looks,
encroachment or
Exactly.
other or industrial or highway. But yeah, at this moment, like my current purview of the work is a mix.
it's just something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, as for the total workload, okay, we did do that just recently for Howard and Lazarus had a quarterly meeting, they wanted statistics and stuff. So we're basically on par with last year's number of reviews, so, that part hasn't changed. Part that changes for us, and the part that's difficult, is that DEP keeps adding it lengthens the time of the review. So they, even though it says that, they implemented the permit decision guarantee reviews, yeah, they track that part. But the administrative reviews, which used to be just 15 days and you're out, they all take longer now because there's a lot more things that they want to check before the time clock even starts. So it's sort of, the system's changed that way. So it takes for them to get onto the review shelf.
And, yeah, and as I'm sure anybody, the 3 of us can attest to on our side of the table is plans keep getting thicker.
Yeah,
So, what we used to be able to do with a 6-page plan is now a 46-page plan. So review times, and then obviously the work program has to address the reality of what we're dealing with, which is all regulations being.
that's
So it's just a matter of making sure, I look at it 2 ways. It's the regulation with how it's changing the process and the fact of where is land development in our county shifting. The type of development that we're seeing, the type of projects that we're seeing.
Yeah, you would think, what you would think is the office might not be as high because everybody realized in COVID that they didn't need offices. And that could be a trend that could be seen in the future.
Yeah, conversions.
Right. That,
Actually, a great reuse because there should be less disturbance.
right.
We're repurposing already improved land, so.
Yeah, and unfortunately, DEP doesn't make a difference between our timelines depending on the type of project. So a 1 lot, 1 acre house to them takes the same time as a 100-acre highway project, which I see what you mean about shifting like our workload. Unfortunately, with our days, we can't unless it comes through. Yeah,
It's just a matter of.
but
having
that would
work
make
program.
more sense.
But my ultimate goal is, and we were almost there before Carmen came on board and Connor left us, was that I'm going to have, as soon as they get up to speed, be able to start reviewing second submissions at least and get it into the review process. So hopefully, but get everybody to stay around and not lose people, that they'll be able to do some of the reviews in the future too. So it's going to take some reallocation of their time. Currently, Michelle, because of the number of permits coming in, which is high, hasn't been able to, we can't put that time into it right now. So it's just all up to myself currently reviewing plans.
It's, and it's not more regulations, is it more like interpretations and internal?
Well, no, we've changed regulations, like in the beginning of 2021, I think it came out that we put in the ABAC controls for everything. So everything that, impaired waters has to have ABAC controls, and that causes more review comment. And in Delaware County, all of our streams, 95%. So it's not like the only ones that get away with not having ABAC controls, ironically, are the Delaware River. And it's not because it's not impaired, it's just not impaired for sedimentation, it's impaired for PCBs and other things. So they don't have to use ABACs down there, but everybody else is using ABAC. So that's one example of a change. The other thing they changed, they added another permit, a PGA of 1. Fortunately, we don't have many of, we had none of those in Delaware County debate so far. It was supposed to be, what it did do though, it was supposed to be a low hazard permit. However, it set up a whole new way of looking at things for the permit. So what you have to go through to qualify for that permit is tougher. And then it spills over into, well, wait a minute, if we're requiring it for this site, how can we not require it for the bigger sites? So it's a learning curve right now through as well. There's lots of things like that has occurred. The permit forms are always changing. The things that we're doing, the inspection report just changed. So we get a lot of things coming into us via emails that take the way we have to do things. And it's a learning curve every time something changes for us. So, and then for the developing community as well, to pick up on the things that are being changed. And not every engineer out there is doing a lot of it. A lot of them avoided individual permits. So when they get hit with an individual, they get shocked to their system with the amount of review comments. The regional office reviewing their stormwater. They're used to working with the municipalities, but then when they work with the DEP at the regional office, they're getting different comments than they're used to.
Wait, reject. So, but when they do the individuals, you still issue them, they just review. You just review the ENS part of it? or-
We just review the ENS.
Okay,
The difference between a general and an individual is the general permits are actually, we acknowledge the use of the general permit. So in other words, the state prepares a general permit and you apply because you want to use that permit and those standards in that permit for your project. So it's not really issued, it's an existing general permit that's out there. You're applying to have your permit acknowledged to be able to use that without needing a separate individual permit, which is the individual permits are actually issued by DEP.
but some years ago, you used to issue, right, or no?
No, we never issued individual permits. They always went through, we used to be able to issue our letters separately. Now they're combining the letters, so the DEP issues the letters.
Is that more work or less?
The coordination with DEP is not. They're still working from home, a lot of them, so they're doing everything electronically, which we hope to go to in the future, but so they can get things done a little quicker now. Why? Because Chester County and Montgomery County all have the post-construction stormwater. They both have 2 engineers on staff now, and they're doing all the reviews. And they're actually issuing the permit with DEP signing off on it. So they have less to review up in the regional office. So they're a little quicker than they are. So yeah, everything's always in transition. So yeah.
And the big concept has changed, right?
Right, exactly. Everybody's got to study their annual work plan, but you're not with that. Next, report for 12 agencies that Beth is not here. The agency sending a report.
No, she's not.
Maggie?
Linda was a tentative today, but I did not see a report from her. She is moving on to the field rep, but she's only filling in.
Right, exactly. So we're not her major focus anymore. Huh? Okay, so Ed's report, then we'll move on to Ed's report.
Okay, you have a copy of my report. Still working with the Sustainability Commission. We had to cut down there. They were trying to do subcommittee meetings twice a month, and they realized that was probably too big of a thing to try to do. So they've cut those down, and we've had a couple cancel. I think we had one this month. We worked on that and trying to get the sustainability plan ready to be moved forward. I did a lot of research on the UTV. Most of that was done at home because it's easier to search on the internet at home.
Right.
And but there's a lot of stuff out there, and I don't know how. A lot of it's sales catalogs. I don't really know how to do it. I don't have any experience with that, and unfortunately, no one in the county does right now. So hopefully we'll be able to figure that out and make a good decision there. We also delivered the conservation plan, one to Smedley Park, and that Karen could use it for the project at Smedley. And then we have a group of friends at the Glen Providence Park in Media, and we took the trailer out to them because they do a maintenance program, and they go through the park. And so they really appreciate the use of the trailer. Also, the financial deposits were made to the county. I think we're almost up to our goal of the $263,000 in revenue. Probably another less than $10,000 that need to be done before the end of the year. I think that's basically what I had, other than I'm not getting enough control plan review done during the month because of the meetings. Concentrate on that this month and try to get caught up. So we have 21 plans pending review right now.
And what's the Delco tunnel project?
Oh, this is the sewer project. Basically, they're going to try to take the sewer that's currently going over to Philadelphia and tunnel it in an 11-foot diameter tunnel, 100 foot under the ground. So it will only be a transport, but it'd also be a backup storage too. So, because it'll have some storage capacity, and take it over to Delaware, so they don't have to take any sewage over to Philadelphia anymore.
Your gas will.
Yeah, it baffled us,
Ambitious project.
and it wasn't an easy
Civil
project.
engineering.
11-foot wide diameter, that's a big.
Yeah, 100 foot underground. I have never experienced anything like that. I mean, weren't very good at all. Basically, they have five. RE had to review the administrative permit 3 times, not because they had different people working on the 5 sections, like it was 5 separate plans. That's basically how we had to review it.
And
like
they all
5.
had to connect, right?
Yeah, they're all connected to a tunnel underground. But then the plans never. 11-foot diameter tunnel, there's gonna be a lot of waste coming out of the ground. And they don't account for it because they don't know where it's coming. I said, it's gotta be where the shafts are, the sites. It's gonna be all that material coming out of the ground there. But the engineers weren't talking to the people that are doing the tunnel, so they did not have the answer. I expected to see. So, and DEP was trying to hide it. They were trying to pass the ball because they were saying, well, these will all be done by the 105 staff, because the 105 it goes under a lot of creeks and stuff. Well, it's never gonna see the light of day at the end of the creeks. It's not like a tunnel through a mountain where you have the exit and the outlet. They're 100 foot down, so it's all gonna come up to get out. And that they don't have a plan for that yet. After 2 meetings that we had with them, the engineering firms will be coming up and addressing that in the next submission. Ironically, one of the engineers that is working on the project was Thomas Nonsel, and he was an intern here way back when, 20 years ago. So yeah, so it's talking. He was from Chile, I think. Yeah, that's where he was from. But so we're working with him on that project, and it's tough. It's a tough one.
Has somebody done this before, the diameter, underground?
You're talking about the actual excavation? They don't know where to put it, or they don't.
Well, they don't
figure it.
They don't have in their plans that these 5 shaft locations
Right.
is where the material is gonna come up. They say at the last meeting, they think, well, they thought they was only gonna use 2 of the shafts as for this purpose. I don't know what the shafts for, or vents, or what the maintenance access ports, or what these shafts are for. But they're like 25 feet diameter. So I don't know how you do it, but they're gonna be coming up out of the ground somehow.
Ew.
I've seen some big sewer in the city, brick sewer.
Yeah, the old brick ones. They're
Yeah,
pretty stinky.
20 foot. Sewers in the city. I've never heard of this project.
I know we've talked about it before, I think, or maybe, right? Really, it's a bizarre idea to me.
You would think that Panoni's probably involved too, because of Not with all the interceptors that go that way, and Haverford and stuff, all our sewer line, Haverford, Markle all go to Philadelphia currently.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a,
I remember your.
yeah, I don't know exactly to begin with, and the problem was they went to court, and Philadelphia was trying to make Delaware County pay for sewage disposal in Philadelphia by upgrading the sewer plant. So
I remember that.
when they went to court, the court agreed with Philadelphia, except the Delcora had decided that it would be cheaper to do this tunnel option than to pay
Which
Philadelphia.
is a dazzling concept. This is cheaper.
That's scary. Yeah.
Living in Newcastle County, we used to have, the western part of Delaware County went in Newcastle, and then they piped it up towards Delcora. They did it by force main now. Kind of similar, it's about these.
It's in the paper, it was in the news.
It's very money.
At Newcastle County, Newcastle, in their audit, found out that they were underbilling Bethel by $250,000, so that's in the thing right now.
They're telling the customers are suing.
It looks like a problem, so. Yeah, lots of different issues going on with that tunnel. Yeah, it's something that, we're trying to focus just on the actual earth disturbance, that thing, but until we have that really defined, it's gonna be a problem. And like I said, the second review has been delayed a little bit, and they've asked for an extension, so they'll, after our 2 meetings, I hope that they have a little bit better idea of what needs to be done there.
Is that it?
That's all for me.
All right, thank you. Okay, next up is Michelle.
All right, just a lot of teleconferences kind of going over incomplete letters. They go department, this month there was a lot of coordinating with projects that previously had incomplete letters to the applications to be complete. So it was a lot of back and forth with existing applications this month. And then other than that, quarter at the beginning of the month, start of the fourth quarter, so just our 102 MPES report for our activities third quarter. And that's really all I have to highlight.
It's like you're busy.
Yeah, it flew by.
Next up is Molly.
So I had pretty much the exact same situation where it was whatever time wasn't spent reviewing new projects or the running NFTs, stuff like that, and inspections. I spent time coordinating with consultants to get a complete application or NOI. There are a few complaints this month as well that are still have some loose ends to tie up, and then I'm working on 2 enforcement cases for 2 different projects. So those will be on its way to the state in a little while.
And you guys have 0 comments out.
Yeah, I know. If it was just the
That was
one.
what they used. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Placeholder, right? Thank you, Molly. Anything else you got to say? Okay.
That's pretty much it. Unless anybody's got any questions specifically about my report.
Right, next up, Carmen.
Nothing new since last month. I've just been continuing to go out on inspections and doing some permit reviews.
Getting your sea legs, as it were. Yeah. Excellent. Thank you. You will be there in no time. It's all fall.
She is doing permit processing now, so.
Oh, yeah. Oh, good. Yeah. Okay, Karen, what's up with you?
I wanted to mention that I've been working with the Center for Watershed Protection and the Eastern Delaware County Stormwater Collaborative on a training for municipal staff who deal with the MS4, typically illicit discharges and elimination of those discharges. So we're gonna be putting on a training at the Haverford Community Recreation and Environmental Center. That'll be on November 17th. We already have about 25 people all over the county, which is good. Mostly aiming for public works staff, code enforcement. We opened it up to engineers as well, so we're gonna be having the Center for Watershed Protection presenting, DEP will be there, Delaware County Emergency Services Director will be there. And Melissa Muroff, whose position I always mess up, will be there. She's from the District Attorney's Office, I believe. So she's the environmental advocate from the DA's office, so she'll be there. Then we'll have a panel discussion with some municipal managers. And I think Larry Bach from Emergency Services will be there as well. So that's coming together nicely, and that'll be in November. And I did want to highlight that our trailer has been very popular, which is great. And the coordinating with the new driver has been great. They've been really easy to work with and handling the growing pains well.
Right, exactly.
So, you know, we got a grant from DEP 2 years ago to keep the trailer going and to kind of, you know, get people to use it again. And this is the most used in the time that I've been here.
Business is picking up.
Yes. The intended effect by getting the trailer out to the other counties and different projects. So that's been going really well. And I think that is all that I wanted to highlight for now, unless anyone has any questions.
Seems good to me. And it's come to the end of our meeting. Okay, how about that? So, you know what that means? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
A second,
I'll second the motion.
all right. All in favor? Thank you very much for coming. Thank you for your work. I appreciate it. Now I will sign the checks.
Okay.
We sign off.
You might well explain that.
Usually lasts.
Right, exactly.
See y'all.
See ya.
Thanks a lot.
Dan Craig said, I went down to the Chester County.
Oh, you did?
Listed down there, yeah.
Yeah, I
They
did.
said you might be coming or something, but.
I was, wanted to come, but he told me about it too late, man. It went in my spam box.